USC football stands alone as the Pac-12's remaining hope for the college playoffs. Colt McCoy versus John Wolford with last place in the NFC West on the line? Where's StubHub? And the Lakers keep searching for that diamond in the manure pile. Hi, I'm James. This is your daily dose of sports and snark for the greatest sports city in the world, Los Angeles. This is Faithful Angelenos Morning Report. It is November 13th, 2022. I am probably actually on my way to SoFi Stadium. I have a weakness for really crappy football. I've been to an XFL game. Whatever. Hey, if you like the content we put out about LA sports, clickety-clack the like button. Clickety-clack the subscribe button. There's a notifications bell. Hit that. It'll let you know when we drop new content. Sharing is caring. Let people know we exist. And yes, comments. I'm not perfect. I totally get it. So before we go through the news and notes from around LA, we'll take a quick look at the scoreboard. What pain there was in the Rose Bowl last night. 9th-ranked UCLA had a lot lined up for them for a miracle run to the college football playoffs, and they face-planted to a bottom-feeding team in the Pac-12, Arizona 34, UCLA 28. There's a rapid recap on the Bruins playlist, but we are going to talk a little bit more in depth about it in just a moment. Also, we've been talking a lot about how for the Clippers to win, Paul George has to be tremendous. He wasn't tremendous last night. He was only pretty good, 17 points. So Brooklyn winds up with the win, 110-95. And finally, Sean Dursey scores twice, Kings 4, Detroit 3. Meanwhile, today, Arizona is at the Rams at 1:25. There's a preview of that game on the Rams playlist. The Chargers are on Sunday Night Football. They're going to play the Niners. Preview of that on the Chargers playlist. Meanwhile, to wrap it up, Brooklyn will take on the Lakers at 6:30. Kyrie Irving has been ruled out for Brooklyn so he can celebrate the Sabbath. And, of course, LeBron James is not playing. He is probably not playing. He is doubtful due to a groin injury. Let's not talk about other men's groins. I still can't get over the impact of UCLA's loss yesterday. I don't think devastating fits enough. I think it's understated to call it devastating. Look, everything was lining up for the Bruins yesterday. You don't root for injuries, but USC has running back issues, which we'll get to in a minute. And then in addition to that, Oregon lost at home to Washington, which effectively eliminates the Ducks from going to the college football playoff. So if the Bruins had one out, they're in. See, because 2 losses wipes you out of the college football playoff picture, and that was Oregon's second. The only type of school that can get in with 2 losses, we know what type of school. Those hillbilly schools where every touchdown is celebrated by making out with your siblings. Those type of schools, right? If your college band is a pickin' and a grinnin' during the homecoming game, you can stack losses and still get into the college football playoffs. They will do whatever it takes to get Nick Saban in, right? Alabama could stack losses as high as missing child support payments are stacking up in the state of Alabama, and the Crimson Tide would still get in the college football playoffs, but the West Coast can't get a bloody sniff. So anyway, currently the Trojans lead the Pac-12. Oregon and Utah are tied for second. Oregon, by the way, is currently gets the nod in the tiebreaker for second, but it doesn't matter because they have 2 losses, as does Oregon, as does Utah, as does UCLA. So I'm watching the UCLA game a second time after I posted the rapid recap because I work overnight and I don't want to work. And I was paying a lot of attention to what was going on when Arizona had the ball. And I have to tell you, I was looking at it, and the thing that really impressed me was all this time, I was thinking UCLA had the advantage over the Trojans. I don't think they could have beaten the Trojans with the way that they played last night on defense. Arizona has a quarterback, Jayden de Laura, who I actually think of as a poor man's Caleb Williams. I was talking about it in the preview before the game. I was saying this was a golden opportunity for the Bruins to fine-tune their pass defense so that they could go after Caleb Williams in the rivalry game. But Jayden de Laura, he wasn't running for his life. He wasn't improvising that much. Those were planned rollouts. Those were planned bootlegs, planned waggles. And yet they were moving the ball at will on UCLA. Now, why? I can think of 3 reasons. I'm not saying they're all right, but I think of 3 reasons. 1, it would have been the defensive end's responsibility to hem de Laura back in the pocket. So is it the fault of the Grayson twins? I'm not saying it is. I'm just asking. The Bruins' defensive ends, they didn't do the job. Is it possible that all that running around from de Laura tuckered out the UCLA defense? That's a possibility. Keep in mind, Arizona scored 3 times in the fourth quarter. Then there comes the other option. Defensive coordinator Bill McGovern has missed the last 3 games due to illness. The guy calling the plays in his stead? Former USC defensive coordinator Clancy Pendergast, and if you're a Trojans fan, you're probably laughing yourself sick over that. So think about it. Go to the rivalry game this week and ask yourself, wouldn't Caleb Williams thrive rolling out, bootlegging against a Clancy Pendergast defense? Just a thought, but I think I'm right. And I'm still trying to wrap my brain over how much that one loss damaged UCLA football. Not just in the short term, not just today, but long term. And the athletic program to boot. Look, all year long, we have been chronicling the financial problems of UCLA's athletic program thanks to the gross mismanagement of the Pac-12 conference. What I'm trying to tell you is, look, UCLA at one point this year was over $100 million in the red. Now, I'm not saying, oh my God, UCLA lost a football game, time to cancel the golf program, time to cancel field hockey. I'm not saying that. What I'm saying is that when you are millions upon millions of dollars in debt, you need to get out of debt. The sooner the better. It's too much debt. Unless, of course, you're in the Biden White House. So for the Bruins to get out of debt, football is the big moneymaker for any college. So the closer that team could have gotten their bowl game in New Year's Day or in the college football playoffs, that's big money. But that's not happening now with multiple losses. The Bruins, they're not going to the playoffs. They're not going to the Rose Bowl. The projections have them going to the Holiday Bowl. And we all know what happened the last time UCLA went to the Holiday Bowl. I want to give you guys a side note about UCLA, by the way. Fans have been communicating with me over the attendance, and I'm honestly starting to think the solution might be SoFi Stadium. Because the fans who have been commenting to me say that the Rose Bowl is not comfortable. SoFi Stadium is. Meanwhile, for USC, the worst has been confirmed. Running back Travis Dye is out for the year, possibly with a left knee injury. It hasn't been officially diagnosed yet. He was injured while being tackled Friday in a win versus Colorado. Now, Dye is the number 2 rusher in the Pac-12, 884 yards, 9 touchdowns. Now, you might say, James, the Trojans are deep in the skill positions, and you would be right. But saying the next man up isn't sufficient when you're talking about Travis Dye. He is extremely versatile, not just as a running back, but as a receiver and as a pass blocker. He wore a lot of hats for that USC offense. And moreover, he was beloved in the locker room. Head coach Lincoln Riley summarized it by saying, quote, "It sucks," unquote. And by the way, Dye is a 5th-year senior, so this ends his college career. So I took a look last night to see some scouting reports where he would fit in if he could become a pro. Quote, "He is a reliable depth piece," unquote. They say he lacks speed. C'est la vie. Now, for his part, Austin Jones says it's his time to shine. He did rush for more than 100 yards in a game earlier this year. We'll have to see what turns up. For the Rams and the Arizona Cardinals, it's possible that neither starting quarterback will play today. We could be looking at John Wolford versus Colt McCoy. Now, we've been talking at length about Matthew Stafford being in the concussion protocol. As of Saturday night, he did not clear the protocol. And there are sources saying that Stafford is out unless there's, quote, a drastic change, unquote. Meanwhile, Kyler Murray is nursing a hamstring injury, and McCoy is apparently so bullish on his prospects that he went to StubHub and scooped up a ton of tickets. Now, McCoy, by the way, has been in the NFL for 13 years. He started 33 games. Also for the Rams, running back Malcolm Brown was waived Saturday to make room for rookie Kyron Williams. And Odell Beckham Jr. says he hopes to sign with, quote, a team soon. He didn't say the Rams. All summer long, he was talking about how he couldn't wait to be with the Rams again. Now it's just a team. The Lakers held tryouts for 3 dudes. And when I say dudes, I mean dudes. I could only name one of them. And I'm here to tell you, if I were here to try to convince you that Mo Harkless is the solution to their problems, pass me the little cup. It's time to go take a piss and have my drug test analyzed. Mo Harkless is your solution? Meanwhile, guard Dennis Schrader and center Thomas Bryant, they both had thumb surgeries earlier this season. That's why you haven't seen them yet. They're going to be reevaluated on Thursday. Earlier this year, we mentioned that Kings rookie defenseman Brant Clark's contract status changes after he plays 10 games. So the Kings played him 9. They played him only 9, but they really, really liked what they saw. But they couldn't pull the trigger on changing his contract status because then you'd be dealing with salary cap issues. You might have to trade someone. You might have to cut someone. So they wanted to think about it some more, and they made him a healthy scratch for 5 games. Now they're trying to use a little quirk in the NHL rules and send him to Ontario for a, quote, rehab assignment, and he's not even injured. So they're taking their sweet time trying to make up their mind on that. They don't want to be going over the salary cap. The Chargers have added running back Larry Roundtree to the active roster. And all I can tell you about Roundtree is this is my impression of how much of a needle mover that is. But you let me know what you think in the comments thread. I am genuinely interested to find out what you guys think of what's going on in the Pac-12. Or for that matter, the Rams. If you enjoyed the content, don't forget to subscribe to Faithful Angelenos. We talk LA sports here. Thank you for watching. I'm James. We'll be back later today. Faithful Angelenos is a Kian Corte El Queso production. Take care.